broadcasting live from 95-degree downtown Cleveland. It's station WDWL TV, home of not one but two stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and one of these guys, an Oscar. And yeah, we're brought to you by this dickhead here, Grumpy Vulture Productions. So, it is fucking hot in Cleveland. And we're not talking the TV show, we're talking the heat. Jesus Christ. They said, they forecasted 89. It got to 95, and right now I think it's sitting at 92. And they're saying tomorrow will be hotter. What are we going to do, 100 degrees tomorrow? Jesus. We're having Arizona weather. Christ, 101, we were not, 95. Although they always say in Arizona, oh, it's dry heat. I don't care if it's dry heat or wet heat. 95 to 100 is hot. What's the temperature at your end there, Kathy? You know, it figures, because June was a bit on the chilly side. Now, I don't mean cold. We didn't have any really high scorching heat in June. And this is typical Cleveland, because you go from mild and acceptable to frickin' sweating your ass off. Get rid of that, damn it. No. Hit the wrong button. 91 with a heat index of 106. I didn't check the heat index. I would tend to think if we were 95, the heat index had been about 112. It was, oh God, I went out. What time did I go out? It was around 2:30. Now, earlier in the day, I ran up to the store, but I took the shit box, mainly because I can roll down the windows. But it was still hot. So I went out about 2:30 to fire up the Passat, because yesterday when I came home from Mark's, I started it up. Something don't sound too good here. I started it up, and maybe I got it too loud. The engine was loping. It was going between 800 and 1100 RPM, up and down and up and down, up and down. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell's the matter with this thing again? Although it drove home all right. So I knew I wasn't going to take it anywhere today, but I went out and I fired it up, and today it's idling right at 800 RPMs where it should. Every now and then this engine goes goofy. I'm going to wait until the weather gets a little better. Mainly if it's like in the 80s. And go up and talk to Ryan and see if he can figure out why it gets goofy at times. I drove up to Mark's. It was fine. I come out, I put the groceries in, I started up. I was like, oh man. I was praying it wasn't going to stall. So luckily, I got it home. Once I started down the street, it was fine. Car's got a mind of its own. I can't wait to get the windows fixed. Oh, I think what I'm going to do is take it up and have Ryan do a dye test on my air conditioning. Because the system is out of Freon. So there's a leak somewhere. Now, if it's something that isn't going to be expensive, I'll definitely invest in having the air conditioning fixed. But I have a sneaking I think it's the compressor. The front of the compressor looks a little too shiny. And if it's a compressor seal leak, fuck it, I ain't fixing it. No way, Jose. It would be nice if I could add Freon and it would last for a while, but I think the system is empty. Just another problem on the list. Like I say, the car's like a pole dancer. Once you stop throwing $100 bills at it, it quits working. I read I read multiple websites in the morning, multiple. And I have a bad habit of not writing down what the website it was. There was kind of a funny blurb on the one website today. It was at a studio out in Los Angeles. An adult movie studio. Get the point? Well, I guess there was an extremely rough scene. I have to watch, keep it clean for YouTube. Well, the actress, they call them actresses. The actress was wearing an iWatch. And the iWatch detected violence and dispatched the police and EMS to the studio. Needless to say, when the police and EMS showed up, everybody was quite embarrassed at the studio. And they asked, how did you get called? And one of the police officers said, we have a notification from Apple. And the female actress went, oh, fuck. It was my iWatch. Needless to say, the police said, please turn your iWatch off in the future. I mean, as much as I'm against iWatches because I think they're overpriced, it's amazing what those things will do. If you're in an accident, that iWatch senses you're in an accident and sends police and paramedics right to your location. Which is great because if you're unconscious, you can't call. But in an instance like this, where the watch detected violence, it automatically dispatched police and EMS to the studio location. I thought that was hilarious. What would have been even more hilarious is if they would have booted the door and come in with guns drawn. Can you imagine? As they entered the studio and they're like, uh-oh! and the actress is covering up going, sorry, was my iWatch. Now, I guess when they pulled into the studio lot, they were met by security who basically escorted them to the filming location. And I guess security warned them, like, hey, the police and EMS are here. You guys better cover up. And they determined it was her iWatch. I didn't know those suckers were programmed like that. Because it didn't detect an accident. It detected violence. Unbelievable. The shit that they got programmed into them goddamn watches. I know my buddy's wife has got one. And it tells her how many steps she took and how many times she sat down, length of time she sat down. It takes her blood pressure and... I mean, you know, for some old farts, might be worth it. Because they will detect an extreme length of inactivity. The watch basically kind of memorizes your habits. And say you sleep 6 hours a night. And if you're wearing your iWatch, you don't take it off to charge it. You know, you're wearing your iWatch every night. You sleep 6 to 6.5, maybe 7 hours. Well, if it goes past the 8 hour mark, the watch detects inactivity and it will notify authorities. Now, you would think that if it's detecting inactivity, is it also reading like blood pressure and oxygen saturation? In a way, it's a good item to have. I can't see paying $1,000 for a watch, and they're going up. Apple put out an announcement last week, 2 weeks ago. Everything is going up because they're having a problem getting memory chips. So, of course, they have to go to other suppliers and pay a higher price. Who's eating that? The consumer. Although they said, what the hell is the game station that Microsoft has? I'm not up on the gaming. What's the unit that you buy to play games that's made by Microsoft? I can't think of either one. I know there's two different ones. Whatever. They're going up $150 due to memory chips. So basically, they said, if you're going to buy one, buy it now. Needless to say, I didn't run out and buy one. I'm trying. What is it? Xbox? Is that what the stupid thing is? Xbox? I don't know. All I know is they're going up $150 in the next couple of weeks. So they're telling people, if you want one, go buy one now. I don't want one. Anything to screw the consumer, you know. And I came across a little blurb. Like I say, these items are getting to be old hat. Last week in New Mexico, a mother forgot to drop off her 24-month-old at daycare. A mother loaded the kid in the car, drove to work, and we know what happened. It did say the police immediately seized her cell phone. And they are going to get a search warrant and see if she was on her phone on the way to work. A mother. How do you forget? You have a 24-month-old infant in the car. I can kind of understand a father. A mother? So she is being held on I think they said $250,000 bond right now, which she can't make. And they are going to go through her cell phone to see if she was on the phone, which probably from the minute she left the house to until she got to work, and then probably walking into work going, okay, I'm at work, I'll call you later. But they're not national news stories anymore because they happen constantly. And it is sad that you have that many asinine parents that are probably too involved in their social media to be concerned about a child. That's 2 in a month. That made the news websites that I read. But it probably happens more than that. And it's really sad how these parents can be so fucking scatterbrained. I don't know. Never happened on my watch. Although I'm probably the odd person out. When I get out of the car, even though I know it's only me, I look in the back seat. I don't know why. Probably force a habit from 40 years ago. Before I enter my car, I look in the back seat. I've been doing it like since 1985. Although yesterday I knew there was something I wanted to tell everybody yesterday. Before I went up to Mark's, I opened all 4 doors and the sunroof, mainly to kind of cool the car a bit. Now, when you've got a roasted interior, the car ain't really cooling down because the seats are hot, the steering wheel, the dash, everything, So I opened all 4 doors and I opened the sunroof, and the car was sitting out in the driveway. And I came in the house and No, I was going up to Save-A-Lot. So I came in the house because I have a bad habit. You know, I have a bunch of them carry bags that I got at the auto show. I got Subaru, I got Toyota, I think I got one from Ford. I think I got a Kia. You know, when they were giving them carry bags out, I got a shitload of them. And I keep them in the back seat, folded up, because when you go into Save-A-Lot, if you don't have a container, you have to pay for bags. So I always take, but I have a bad habit. I fold them up and I put them on top of the refrigerator. So I had opened the door, all the doors, and I looked in the back seat and I was like, oh, I don't have any bags. So I come in the house, grab the stack of bags, and as I'm getting ready to go out the side door, I look in the car, and there's a squirrel sitting in the passenger seat, grooming itself. Sitting in the passenger seat. I'm like, hey. So I come out the side door, and it kind of looked at me. Like, what do you want? And I started to shoo, you know, and he sat there and he looked at me. So I put the bags in the back seat and I grabbed my snow brush and I waved it at him, and boy, out the door he went, up the tree. Yeah, he was sitting in there like he owned the goddamn thing. I'm like, no, I'm not taking you to Save-A-Lot, buddy. Get out of the car. Thank God it wasn't a woodchuck. They were out early this morning, but it got a little too hot on the concrete, and Mom took them back home because I came out. It was 8 o'clock, and I raised the blind on the back window, and they were all laying in the driveway. And then by 9 o'clock, it must have got, well, yeah, it got hot because at 9 o'clock, it was already like 85 degrees. I couldn't believe it. I looked at the thermometer, I went, holy shit. Although they have been warning us we're going to have a heat wave. And they're saying tomorrow will be hotter. So I will be running to the store early in the morning because I have to run up to Mark's. Have to get a couple of things I forgot. So I will be going early because I won't, definitely won't be driving the Passat tomorrow. Probably not the shitbox either, even though I can roll the windows down. See, part of the problem, the reason I don't like going early in the morning, because every senior citizen and the west side of the city seems like they go shopping early in the morning. He just moved his car 2 feet. I don't know why. 2 feet. There was all kinds of room behind it. I don't know what he's doing. He's got a big honking black I think it's a Suburban. Looks like one of them frickin' FBI undercover vehicles. Oh, he must have something in the back of it. I hear him rumbling around. I don't know what he's doing. But it's the extended one. It's a big honking Suburban. Like I say, it looks like when you see the presidential motorcade and they have all them Suburbans. That's what his looks like. All the windows dark tinted. I don't know what he uses it for. We got it a couple weeks ago. But like I say, it looks like a goddamn vehicle they have in a presidential motorcade. I think he's cleaning it out. He's opening a door, closing a door, opening a door, closing a door. Right outside my window. Are you done yet? I guess so. That's like him and I get into it every summer. And it goes back to when this house was empty. He placed his garbage can right underneath my bedroom window. Now, I don't know why it's not back in the backyard, but this went on before I moved in. The garbage can was right there. Like, he comes out the side door, whatever garbage you get. So, I have to tell him, you know where that garbage can is? It's underneath my bedroom window. And sometime, like in this kind of weather, the garbage can smells like it's got a decomposing body in it, right underneath my bedroom window. And I have to ask him to move it back by his garage. Because what he does, he will move it from that window to this window. And then I have to come out and tell him, that's my studio. You got your garbage can right underneath my studio window. Can you put it back by your garage? And he does this shit every summer. Well, when he will keep it back there after I tell him, and then as soon as winter hits, it's right there under that window. And then come the next summer, I have to, hey, can you move your garbage can back by your garage? You would think if I told him once, it would be like, oh yeah, it's spring, it's time to put the garbage can back. Because in the winter, I don't care. I'm not opening the windows. But in summer, I don't need to smell decomp coming in through my air conditioner. Which tomorrow I am putting in the window. I dug it out, I cleaned it out, I washed all the filters. Tomorrow it's going in the window. Because the fan, as much as I like that tower fan, it just ain't cutting it. Although I do have a ceiling fan that I bought a couple years ago. I should put the ceiling fan up. I don't know why I haven't put it up. It isn't that hard and it won't take that long. It looks good in the box. Yeah, it's a 52-incher. It'll move some air. I mean, it'll take me like an hour to put the goddamn fan up. I don't know why I haven't done it. It's still sealed in the box from 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago, I bought it to put it up and never got around to it. And then last year, I never got around to it. And today, when I pulled the air conditioner out of my bedroom closet, I'm like, oh, the ceiling fan in here. Maybe I should put it up. I wait until, it's 100 degrees in Cleveland to put up a ceiling fan. Maybe since I'll basically be stuck in the house, that ain't a bad idea. Put the ceiling fan up, put the air conditioner in the window, and be cool. I have I got one of them, I think it's 30-inch box fans. I have it on the table in the kitchen. And I've got that fan running. Well, every time I went out in the kitchen to make a cup of coffee, there was a dead cat laying in the middle of the kitchen floor, right in line with the fan. On his back, 4 feet in the air. I come out. What are you doing? Cooling your belly? He didn't move. It's like, yeah, screw you. I'm laying here. I'm cooling. I'm chilling. The fan's blowing on me. But it's hilarious to go out there and see him all 4 feet in the air. Craziest cat I've ever had. Then I could have kicked him in the ass this morning. I go out in the kitchen to make a cup of coffee, and every cupboard door is wide open. I don't know what it is with him opening cupboard doors. Every lower cupboard door was wide open. And I know who does it. It ain't Shiloh, because I've seen him do it. And I even got industrial magnets. Because, you know, those magnets you buy at Homeless Depot, they don't work for shit. So I bought industrial magnets, where you really have to pull on the cupboard door to get it open. Didn't stop him. Every cupboard door was wide open. I walked out there and was like, oh, for Christ's sake. And what he does is he opens them and then walks away. Like, look at me, I opened the cupboard door. He will walk out there and open every door and just walk away. I guess that's him telling me I can open cupboard doors. I mean, you got to really tug on them to get them open. It doesn't stop him. Every fucking cupboard door was wide open this morning. And not just a little bit. He opens them up all the way. Now, he doesn't knock anything out. He don't go crawling in them. He just opens them. And he'll do it right in front of me. I'll be stirring a cup of coffee, and next thing you know, he opens a cup. I'm like, what are you opening the door for? You gonna cook? He opens them and he just walks away. Ha ha ha. Your magnets aren't working. What I should get them child lock things. I don't know how they install. I know that basically they'll stop like at 1 inch. You can't open the cupboard past unless you reach in and you push on something. I don't know. But I think that's why I'm going to have to go up to Homeless Depot and get child locks for my cupboards so that asshole can't open them. I don't know why he does it. He just loves to open cupboard doors. And he didn't do it at the other house. I don't know why we come down. It makes no sense. Because when I was up the street, he never bothered a cupboard door. Never. Move down here. Ding, 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 ding. Look at me. My buddy stopped over today just for a few minutes. He had to. He borrowed my angle grinder. He was putting up a new section of fence, and it's a chain link, and he had to cut the old fence off, and so he had his grandson. He's either 7 or 8. And he had a joke for me. I says, okay, I'll give, Now, how many years ago was the movie with Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins? How many years ago was that goddamn movie? 20? 25? How long ago did they make that movie? Because my buddy's grandson said he heard the joke in school. Now, I wouldn't think. First of all, the kid has no idea what the movie was. And with it being so fucking old, I was kind of shocked that jokes are still going around. Although I never heard any prior. And it's hilarious because his grandson calls me Mr. Grumpy. He's sitting in the car, very polite little kid, I'll tell you. He's sitting in the car, and my buddy and I stopped talking, and he's like, Mr. Grumpy, I have a joke. I said, really? Yeah, it's a good one. I said, okay, I'll give. He says, what do they call pigs at the slaughterhouse? What do they call pigs at the slaughterhouse? I don't know what. Silence of the hams. It was cute. I laughed. But I'm thinking, when was that movie released? And there's still jokes going around? He said he heard it at school. Silence of the hams. It's cute. A joke that a 7 or 8-year-old would tell. Not something I would tell my neighbor. I was kind of shocked because I'm thinking, that movie's got to be 25, 30 years old. Yeah, Silence of the Hams. I was like, okay. 91? And jokes are still circulating? Holy shit. Unbelievable. Although previously I never heard any. Even when the movie came out, I didn't. And what do you call pigs at a slaughterhouse? Oh, Silence of the Hams. I thought it was cute. Although, here I am telling it to my audience. I didn't think it up. It came from an 8-year-old. And when he told me the punchline, he laughed his ass off. I kind of chuckled. My buddy rolled his eyes because he's heard it like 40 times. A movie that was released in 91, and here we are in 2026, and jokes are circulating from that movie. Unbelievable. Even I didn't think it was that old. 1991. I saw it at the theater, but I forgot when I saw it. You mean I was that young? Jesus Christ. Wow. Because my wife wanted to see it. And I'm not much for sitting in a theater. But, you know, I got the obligatory 5-gallon bucket of popcorn and the 3-gallon drinks. You know, that'll be $92, sir. Yeah, okay. And I enjoyed the movie. I thought Jodie Foster played an excellent role, although both her and Anthony Hopkins won Oscars. Best Actor, Best Actress. I'll tell you, Anthony Hopkins played an excellent part because he tried every way possible to intimidate Jodie Foster, who was the FBI agent, and she was dealing with a serial killer, and she was picking his brain. You know, what would this guy be doing, and how am I going to locate him? But he, sitting in the theater, he was scary. It was one that, I'll tell you, I don't go see movies in theaters. I walked out of that theater admitting to my wife I enjoyed going. Because there was no lag. You know how some movies, they'll kind of get off the storyline. There was no lag in that movie. They kept you at the edge of your seat. The last movie I saw in a theater, I was divorced. I had a girlfriend, and she wanted to see Click. Remember Click? Everybody's like, Click? It starred Henry Winkler. Does anybody remember the movie Click? Well, like I say, I'm not a big movie person. But you know, when you're dating, you got to keep the little lady happy. And she wanted to see, oh God, she wanted to see that movie in the worst way. And I was like, I'm not a big movie person. I'll drive. Okay. So she drove. What she had a Saturn. I hated that car. She had the first year Saturn. And that goddamn engine leaked oil worse than a Harley Davidson. I don't know how many times it went in for warranty and they could never seal the oil leaks on that fucking engine. But hey, it was her money, she bought it. So we go to see Click, and I actually enjoyed the movie. Because it was basically like a possessed remote control. And every time, I can't think of the co-stars, every time the son pressed a certain button on the remote, his father aged like 5 years, 10 years. And every time he saw his father, he couldn't understand. Jesus Christ, you're getting old, you're getting old, you're getting old. And they finally realized it was the remote. And I can't remember the rest of the movie, if the remote backed up, you know, his aging or whatever. But that's the last movie I saw in a theater. I mean, I don't watch movies. Now, the other night, I started to watch the colorized version of WWII. Matter of fact, the part that I watched was when the Japanese were bombing Pearl Harbor. Now, I have seen it many times in black and white. Seeing it in color changes your whole opinion, because I'm watching the colorized version and my mind is thinking movie. I don't like the colorized versions of any of WWII at all. And they have colorized versions of WWI that I don't like. I guess they colorized it for the younger generation. Or because they could. To me, even though it is actual combat, my subconscious immediately thinks movie, 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 and I shut it off. I switched to something else. I'm trying to think what the hell I watched last night. I know I watched a murder interrogation. Another one of these where it was on multiple video cameras, and the kid sat there and went, man, it wasn't me. It was my buddy. And the police kept saying, "You were by yourself." "No, no, my buddy shot him, not me." "You were by yourself. It was you and the victim. It's on multiple cameras." "No, no. Mm-mm. My buddy was out of camera range." "You're walking down the street. What was your buddy, hovering 10 feet in the air?" "Oh, he just, it wasn't me. Mm-mm. Wasn't me." They even showed him pieces of the video. "My buddy's off camera." There's cameras on both sides of the street. There was nobody with you. And he just kept it up and kept it up and kept it up. I think I changed to watch something else. Oh, I watched the demise of British Leyland Motors. That was sad. All the British cars, the MGs, the Austins, the Rovers, the Jaguars. They sold off for greed and did the typical thing they always do. They milked the shit out of it. And then when they realized they were losing money, we'll just close everything down. Although they are making MGs again, but they're not importing them into the United States because they look like Volkswagen Golfs. I'll tell you what, there are a lot of documentaries on Everest. I have watched quite a few. Because I think so far this year there what, 4? I think there's 4 that have died this year so far. It might be more. But, you know, the thing that gets me, these Sherpas who are guiding these treks up the mountain, they know what they're talking about. And a lot of these idiots that die refuse oxygen. And the Sherpas are, they're almost like paramedics. They check oxygen, your oxygen in your blood. And they literally tell these people, you're going to die. Turn your oxygen on. Turn it up. No. Next thing you know, poof. After all these years, Green Boots has been up there like, 20 years? After all these years, they're going to finally take poor Green Boots out? Although I don't know how they're going to recover him. He's up in the death zone. That's one of the hardest areas to get anybody down. After all these years. Man, that is going to be a tough recovery. Because basically, when they go past him, they're like, 800 meters from the summit? Yeah, he's in the death zone. He's been up there so long, they should just leave him. Because basically, they use him for like a road map. When you get up to Green Boots, you turn left and wow. If you can find that article, see if you can possibly send it to me. I would be interested in reading that. Because he's got to be 20, 25 years. Now, a lot of people that are up in the death zone, they will try to move them to like an area of the mountain where they're kind of like at peace. Because I know what they call that? The one woman that, the American woman that died, Sleeping Angel or something. They ended up moving her because they said they wrapped her in an American flag and they moved her around the side of the mountain so that she can rest in peace. But Green Boots, wow. Yeah, they use him as a landmark. Basically, when you get to Green Boots, you're like 800 meters from the summit. Unbelievable after all these years. I wonder if he even has family after all these years. That's amazing. $30 years. I knew it was over 20. What is their reason? Did they give a reason? After 30 years, I would think that everybody, the family gave up and went, we know where he's at. That's amazing. Although part of it they're probably doing to identify him because everybody, it's like they're saying like he's two different people. One group is saying, oh, it's Fred, and the other one's saying, oh, no, it's John, because nobody is bothered to go through his shit. That is unbelievable. Oh, they did confirm? Okay. I knew for the longest time they didn't know who he was. So they knew who he is now. Well, that's good. I just can't understand after 30 years. Man, that's going to be a bitch getting him down because he's frozen and, wow. Unreal. Unreal. Well, he does deserve a proper burial. I mean, it's sad when you get that high up in the mountain, they just leave you there. What they say, there's like 200 people on that mountain. Although some people are unrecoverable in the areas that they're at. But I think since the beginning of the mountain climb, I think there's 200 people that are dead on that mountain. Really? I never knew that. Wow. I bet you they'll bury him with full police honors. I never knew that. Man, very interesting. So he's been identified and he's a police officer on top of it. Holy shit. How cool. Although, like I say, they're going to have a bitch getting him down. Because it's not like, they can put him on a sled and straighten him out. But it's nice that they're going to bring him down. Yeah, if you can do it, that I want to read about because I've been watching so much shit on Everest lately that that is something I definitely want to read up on. But for 30 years, they've used him as a landmark. When you get the green boots, you turn left and you're 800 meters from the summit. I think it's 800 meters. But he's definitely in the death zone. CBS News article. Wow. That's unreal because there's so much turmoil at CBS right now. Christ, all the frickin' reporters from 60 Minutes got fucking fired. That bitch that they hired that don't know a typewriter from a piece of paper. Yeah, because of the odd color of his hiking boots. Because no one ever wore those green boots. No one. He was the only one ever to wear lime green boots. And that's why he became a landmark, because of the green boots. Hell of a way to be known as green boots. But like I say, every climber that went up that part, when you got the green boots, you made a left and you went up to the summit. And it was known worldwide. If you're going to go up Everest, when you get the green boots, you hang a left and you follow that path, and you're like 800 meters from the summit. They ain't gonna have a landmark anymore. Although he's in like a little cave. It's like a little cutout in the mountain. But it's nice that they're going to bring him down. A hell of a way to be remembered in death as a landmark. But they have said over the years, he was the only climber to wear lime green boots. And they have no idea where he got them from. But that's what he wore. And then unfortunately, when he died, you know, it's sad to die on that mountain, have people step over you or walk around you. They are so concerned with themselves, and they say, if you basically drop in a path, people will fucking step over you. They're that inconsiderate. Their attitude is, screw everyone else. I'm getting to the top of that mountain. And if I have to walk over you, I will. And it is really sad. The total disregard for another human being. I don't know how them people can stand it. They get temperatures that are, you know, minus 40, minus 60. I don't care what kind of tent and sleeping bag you got. You're cold. There ain't no way at minus 40 degrees in a tent, in a sleeping bag, you're actually warm? I don't think so. Ooh, my eyebrows. Got to turn that flame down. And watching a lot of this shit on Everest, when people get ready to go to bed, they take their boots off and they set them outside the tent. I've seen many tents with boots sitting outside. That would be like putting your feet into a bucket of dry ice, I would think, in the morning. Yeah, dry cold. I just don't understand how you can live. A tent is nothing more than a thin piece of cloth. You don't have a heater inside it. You have a sleeping bag. I don't care how good a sleeping bag you got. You're cold. There's no way. Although I'm a pansy ass, you know, since going through chemo, I'm always on the cold side. Although I'm warm today. This is the third one today. The other two are soaking wet. Have to keep the sweat out of my eyes. and you dress because you take off your snowsuit, you slip in the sleeping bag, then in the morning you put your snowsuit on, you reach outside the tent, you get them 2 blocks of ice, and you slide your feet in them, and then you step out of the tent, and it's minus 60. I don't know how you could move, let alone hike up a mountain. Now, I have heard some hikers say that them snowsuits are quite warm. It ain't that warm. I remember when I was a kid in a snowsuit. I wasn't that warm. And I couldn't move. Because I had my snowsuit on, I had string on my gloves that went down the arm, up around my neck, and attached to the other glove. And I had 2 Millbrook plastic bags in my boots. I was like the Michelin Man. God forbid you'd fall down. Hopefully you have friends with you to help you get back up. 200, I thought so. Oh! What the hell just flew past me? Something flew past me. Or am I seeing things? Oh! I don't know what the hell it was. Something went right past my head. I have no idea what the hell it was. Flew right past my head. Okay. It wasn't my imagination. Something went past me. You know, I feel sorry for the families. Knowing that your loved one is laying up on that mountain somewhere, and you'll probably never get the body back. Because a lot of times Everest will just swallow them up. To spend all that money. Now, yes, it's very impressive to say I was standing on the toppest point in the world. For what, 30 seconds, a minute? There's basically so many people that you get up top, take a quick picture, get down. You can't even enjoy being at the summit. Now, you get a picture, you get documentation, but you're only up on that top of that mountain for a minute, maybe 2 minutes, because there's 300 more assholes in line waiting to get up there. they show video, and it's literally like 500 people in line waiting to spend 2 minutes at the top of the world. And they say it's harder coming down. More people die coming down than going up. Because your body is spent. I don't understand how Edmund Hillary, and I can't remember his Sherpa's name, how they got up to the top of that mountain without oxygen. And they didn't have big snowsuits and all that shit. Tenzing, is that his Sherpa's name? Tenzing? And they went up and came down without frostbite. How the hell did they do it? Nowadays, they got oxygen, you got heated gloves, you got heated socks. All kinds of gizmos, and you still die. But a lot of them don't listen to the Sherpas. There was one I watched the other night. This Sherpa had summited Everest like 10 times. And he kept telling 2 or 3 people that he was guiding to turn up their oxygen. And they were like, oh, we did, breathing exercises before we, came on the expedition. We know what we're doing. And then they die. Yeah, every documentary you watch, they say more people die coming down than going up. Because it's harder on the body. Because you have used up 90% of your energy to get up there. And you have a small window to come down. Because the weather changes real fast on Everest. Although K2 is more deadly than Everest. Everybody says that. K2 is more deadly. That's why you have more people that summit Everest than summit K2. I'll go out in the backyard and summit an anthill tomorrow. I'll raise the flag. That's as high as I'm getting. You couldn't get me near that weather. I don't know how they do it. I really don't know how they do it. Yes, there's been many advances in climbing gear and clothing, and still, minus 60 is minus 60. And you can never get warm. Unless you set your sleeping bag on fire. Yeah, because when you're going up, you're laying towards the mountain. When you come down, yeah. That's why you get those. "Ah!" Oh, well, there goes Shirley. Yeah, you got to hold yourself back. And you are so tired. It's sad. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people that know it all. You know, watching some of those where people spend $200,000 and they think it's like a Bahamas vacation. I mean, that would be like me going down to Met Park and climbing one of the, I'll call them mountains. They ain't mountains. You know, the thing might be 100 feet tall. I'd climb that, get to the top. I can climb Everest. I climbed a 100-foot hill down in Cleveland Metro Parks. They say most of these people with money have never been above 10,000 feet. And they think they can climb Everest. Well, there's a big difference between 10,000 feet and 28,000 feet. The air gets a little thin. What do they call it? Hypoxia? Is it hypoxia that they die from? Lack of oxygen to the brain? And you know, when the Sherpas start seeing signs, they tell people turn around and go down, and you'll be alive tomorrow. And these people say, oh, this headache, I took some ibuprofen, I'll be fine. And then 20 minutes later, boom. Okay, stick a lily in his hand, he's done. Why do you hire a seasoned Sherpa if you're not going to fucking listen to them? They know better than you. They've been doing that a long time. And if they tell you you're going to die, turn around and go down, turn around and go down. But no, these idiots are like, I spent all this money, I'm getting up there. And then they die. Then the poor Sherpa's got to try to bring the body down. I'd be like, asshole. I'd put you on the sled, give you a push. Okay, there he is. And the sad thing is, these Sherpas take these deaths to heart because they know that person's life is in their hands. And even though it's documented that, you know, people were told, go down, go down, go down, go down. And they don't. And then the poor Sherpa's like, oh, God, I told him. Damn it. I'll tell you what, Those Sherpas don't get enough money to do what they do. I would not want to be responsible for anybody except me. Let alone you have a group of 4, 5, 6 people you're guiding. No, not for me. Although the documentaries are interesting, they really are. Because the one guy, God, I can't remember what his YouTube channel is. He does, oh man, the research that he does is unbelievable. He could probably tell you how many pairs of underwear a climber has got at home in his dresser drawer. He does such extensive research. I enjoy watching his. I forget who he is. What did I watch on Those Were the Days last night? Oh, I watched Liberace last night. How could I forget? I watched the documentary on Liberace, which I enjoyed because I saw Liberace when he was here at the Front Row. One of the best theaters on earth, and they fucking tore it down. I think it's a parking lot now. I loved the Front Row. It was a bitch getting in and a bitch getting out, but boy, what a place for a show. I saw Liberace at the Front Row, which was the last year that he toured because he died the next year. But man, did he put on a show. Holy shit. I saw Liberace, Don Rickles, George Carlin. Who else? I can't remember who else. Liberace, George Carlin, Liberace, Don Rickles, George Carlin. There's one more. I was out there 4 times. I can't think of the fourth person. Oh my God, I can't think of who the hell. Liberace, Rickles, Carlin. Oh my God. I'm blank. I can't think of the other because I went there 4 times. Oh, for Christ's sake. I can't remember who else I saw out there. I am blank. Holy shit. Eyebrows. I got to turn that flame down. That one heated my eyebrows up for sure. Oh, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank at the front row. Because I went twice to see the Ice Capades at the Coliseum, which was another bitch of a place to get in and out of. Nick Maletti, oh, thank you for building that thing out there. They tore that down too. All the great venue places, and they tore them down. And anytime any performer was at the front row, it was always sold out. I went to the front row 4 times, and I went twice to the Coliseum for the Ice Capades because my son was young, and the first year they did a Disney theme, and I can't remember the second time we went out there. Oh, there's another place that's a bitch to get in and out of. But yeah, I love Blossom. Anytime I was at Blossom, I was connected with the limousine service. The one I remember like yesterday was Pearl Jam because I had half the group with me in one luxury van and my buddy had the other half. And we had a sheriff's escort out and all the way down to Akron Canton Airport where they had their private jet parked. We had 2 or 3 sheriff's cars clearing traffic in front of us. I loved it. We were doing like 90 miles an hour down I 90 or 77. Their manager told us pull the van up, both of the vans, as close to the back of the stage as possible and open the doors. And he said, when they are done, they are going to run off the stage and jump into these vans and be ready to go. And there were 2 sheriff's cars in front of us. And they did. They came running off that stage, jumped in the van. I shut all the doors, and on come the lights and sirens, and out we went. It was cool. It really was. I'm trying to think who else I had. I'll have to. I have a. I have a. I'll say a diary. It's not a diary. I kept track of who I had. Yeah, Blossom is cool. I'm glad it's still there. It's sad that the front row's gone, the Coliseum's gone. Who the hell wants to go down to what the hell is it downtown? Some bank, naming rights. Can't even remember what the hell it is. We had picked up Pearl Jam from Akron Canton Airport, where their private jet came in. And we had all the guys from the band, their manager, some helpers, and we took them to Blossom. Of course, we came in before all the crowd was there. And then when the show was over, it was lights and siren out of there. Because we had 3 sheriff's cars clearing traffic on 77, going back down to Akron Canton Airport. And we were cranking at 90 miles an hour because the one deputy said, "You be on my bumper." Okay, don't stop. And right into the fucking airport. I could imagine people at Akron Canton Airport going, "What the hell's going on out there?" Frickin' sheriff's cars. But the best one was the Odd Fest at the Akron Rubber Bowl. I'll remember that one till the day I pass. That was the one to remember. Especially meeting Ozzy. I don't think Ozzy remembered me, but I remembered meeting him. And they tore the Akron Rubber Bowl down, too. Jesus Christ. Every venue I've been to, I must be a bad luck charm. Grumpy was here, tear the place down. Grumpy was at the front row, tear it down. Grumpy was at the Coliseum, tear it down. Grumpy was at the Akron Rubber Bowl, tear it down. And they did. Go on. I have memories. That's about it. Although I'll tell you, I drove a lot of sweethearts. The one that really sticks in my mind, who was absolutely the sweetest woman on earth, Reba McEntire. I'll tell you what, I can almost remember like yesterday. Not to mention she sat in the front seat of the limousine with me. And I'll tell you, when she was talking, she always had to touch you. Oh, honey, oh, dearie, you know. I'm trying to drive and she... But, oh, just absolute pure sweetness. And she's doing a commercial for some real estate company. And every time I see her, I look at her and go, "Sweetheart, you haven't aged a day since I drove you back in 2000. She still looks damn good to this day. She really does. I can't remember the real estate. Not real estate. Is it real estate? Yeah. Some real estate company. But when I see that commercial, she hasn't aged a day. She still looks damn good. And like I say, a lot of the women that I had were sweethearts, but I remember her like it was yesterday. Oh, dearie, oh, honey, you know. Because she was telling some funny stories, mainly about her career. I wish I could remember everything. Oh, God. I'll be laying awake tonight thinking of that. Those were the days. Those were the days. As much as I hated that limousine service, I loved it. Because there were people that I never even would have gotten close to, let alone talk to. Had them talk to me like they knew me for years. Reba just it was like we were old friends meeting up. I had her for 3 days. Where the hell was she performing? Oh God, I can't even remember where she was performing. The 3 days I had her. Although I'll tell you one of the best memories, and then I'll get off the subject, was when I had Bob Costas when the Indians were in the World Series playoffs. And he invited me up to the announcer's booth. And I sat in between him and, who was the asshole? Joe Morgan? I think it was Joe Morgan. Ex-baseball player. Was rude as shit. Wouldn't even talk to me. His attitude was like, what are you doing sitting here? You're the fucking chauffeur. Hey, Costas invited me. I wasn't turning it down. What a view of Jacobs Field. The reason he invited me up, he had asked me about Jacobs Field. And I said, I hear it's beautiful. And he says, what do you mean you hear it's beautiful? I said, well, when we pull in, we have to go down in the sub-basement. There is a chauffeur's lounge in the sub-basement. We're not allowed upstairs. We're not allowed anywhere. He said, well, tomorrow it'll be different. And he said, at the end of the third inning, go to the NBC trailer and tell the girl, you're my guest. I said, okay. So I'm in the sub-basement. We're watching TV on a, flat screen. And I hear him announce, well, that's 3 up, 3 down, end of the third inning. And I was like, I'll see you guys. I got to go. And they're like, where are you going? I said, don't worry about it. And then they saw me on TV sitting in between Costas and Joe Morgan. Oh, did I hear about it? Oh, God. Some good memories. Some good memories. I had some bad ones. I remember the opening of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We were there for 3 days, and we literally lived in them fucking limousines. Because whoever we were driving, they were in and out and in and out. And we couldn't go anywhere. And there was no, DoorDash to bring you a meal. I hated that. Later on, I did get to see some good shit at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, courtesy of Dana Delaney, who starred in China Beach and who was the voice of Lois Lane in the Snooper Band movie. Oh man, she caused the shit she caused that day. Oh, I'll tell that story another time. I've told it before. You guys are probably going, "Oh fuck, we don't want to hear that again." Oh, are you done airing out your belly in the kitchen? Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Just give that look. Okay, I know. Time to feed you. Time to go. Okay, come on, outro music. We know where, right here. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night. And with that, everyone, take care. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.